What if building $1 million business wasn't some lucky break, but a blueprint, a repeatable formula you could actually follow step by step? Well, today, we're breaking that exact blueprint down in just about 5 minutes.
I mean, it's the ultimate question, right? Is entrepreneurial success just lightning in a bottle, a mix of luck and timing? Or is there a real methodical process you can follow, a repeatable formula to get from 0 to 7 figures?
And get this, according to entrepreneur Daniel Priestley, the answer is a big, resounding yes. And he should know. Priestley built multiple 7-figure businesses from the ground up, all before he even turned 25. He argues that with the right framework, building a massively successful company isn't magic. It's a science.
And that's exactly what we're doing here. We've taken his strategy and distilled it into the most crucial, actionable steps. Think of this as your roadmap, your guide to the summit.
Every great climb starts with preparation. You wouldn't just start climbing a mountain without getting ready, right? Well, it's the same here. This is Base Camp. It's all the foundational work you do before you even launch. So this foundation stage has 2 key parts. First, you've got the apprenticeship. This is where you learn the ropes and, hey, make mistakes on someone else's dime. And second, you've got the side hustle, where you finally get to test your own skills in a super low-risk way.
So, what's the whole point of working for someone else for a couple of years? It's not the paycheck. Not really. It's about grabbing 3 critical assets. Understanding how a business actually makes money, figuring out what you're truly good at, and, just as important, getting access to a network of people who can get things done.
Okay, next up is the side hustle. Now this is crucial. This has to be a 90-day open and shut project. The point isn't to create your lifelong business right now, it's just a test run. A quick campaign to build your confidence and get some experience without getting totally bogged down.
All right, once you're prepped, you cross the line and officially become an entrepreneur. But this next phase, it's not about being perfect. It's all about experimentation. So welcome to the lab, or what Priestley calls the chaos step. And yeah, it's supposed to be a little chaotic.
And Priestley has this brilliant acronym for this phase, CHAOS. It's not just a clever name, it's your experimental checklist. These are the 4 variables you have to test over and over and over again: your concept, your audience, your offer, and your sales approach. So how do you actually run all these tests? You use an MVP, or minimum viable product. This is your #1 tool in the lab. It's all about creating the illusion of a finished product so you can get real feedback from the market without having to spend months and a ton of money building the whole thing. And look, an MVP doesn't have to be some complex piece of software. It can be as simple as a web page with a waiting list, or an event sign-up, or even just a simple PDF brochure. The only goal here is to make your idea feel real enough to get honest feedback. But to get that real data, you have to talk to people, one-on-one. And the magic number here is somewhere between 30 and 150 meetings. Now, you might be thinking, why so many? Because anything less just isn't statistically significant. This is how you find out if your idea really has legs. In this phase, rejection is your best friend. Seriously. A no isn't a failure. It's a data point. When someone tells you they're not interested, you should get excited and ask them why. That feedback is priceless. This quote perfectly captures the mindset you need. You're not getting rejected, you're getting free consulting to make your product better. Okay, so you've experimented, you've gathered your data, you've found the winning formula. Awesome. Now it's time to pour some fuel on the fire and scale this thing. Let's move to the ascent and see how you build a real growth engine.
First things first, your team has to evolve. In the lab, you were a nimble 2-person scout team just figuring things out. But to scale, you need a structured growth team of about 8 to 12 people with really clear roles: marketing, sales, customer success, operations. This is how you build real capacity.
Your product offering has to mature too. You create a product for prospects, a low-risk, easy-ass intro offer to get people in the door that leads them to your core offer, which is the main thing you sell. And finally, you have a product for clients, like a subscription, to keep them around and generate that sweet, sweet recurring revenue. So to drive that predictable growth, you build what's called a perfect repeatable week. You basically systemize everything. You're running ads, you're posting on social media daily, you're sending out 100 outreach messages a day, and you're having focused team meetings. You're not just experimenting anymore, you're operating a machine that's designed to do one thing: reliably make money.
And the goal of that machine? To hit a critical milestone, consistently generating over $100,000 in revenue every single month.
That is what puts you on track for a 7-figure year. This is where the blueprint starts to feel very real.
So let's bring it all together. We've covered the entire climb, from the ground floor all the way up to the peak. This is your path to the summit.
So the whole journey really boils down to this. First, you start by preparing at base camp. You learn before you leap. Then, you enter the lab, where you embrace a bit of chaos to find the truth about your idea. And only then, once you have that proof, do you begin the ascent, building systems to scale what you know works.
You now have the map from the very first step all the way to the $1 million summit. So the only question left is, where on this map are you right now, and what's the very next step you're going to take?